All right, we're going to talk about logical reasoning tonight. Logical reasoning is the section with a short paragraph, question, and then answers, right? The two most important things are, one, to understand the passage, and two, to loosely predict an answer. So most people flip this around. Most people read the passage pretty quickly. They don't predict an answer. They just read the 5 answer choices and hope to find something that sort of stands out. And they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Or maybe multiple answers sound good. You want to do the work up front by really making sure that you understand the passage and then taking time to predict an answer loosely. It's not going to be the answer. You're just going to have a rough prediction based on the question that they ask you after you read the passage. Okay? So read the passage, then read the question, and then based on the question, predict an answer. Okay? Now, when it comes to understanding the passage, on the LSAT, you have to be like a contract attorney, right? You have to be reading each line as if this is going to be litigated in court in a year with angry parties. So that means you read a sentence, you make sure you understand what that sentence is saying, then you read the next sentence, you make sure you understand what that sentence is saying, and you often have to think about how that sentence relates to the sentence that was already said. In most cases, these passages are arguments, and a lot of times there's leaps in logic when you go from one sentence to the next, right? Like if you say that many people will not be able to watch Game of Thrones this Saturday because of blackout, therefore they will be sad. There's a whole bunch of assumptions going on there. What's just one of them?
It's not showing now.
Wait, what?
I was saying Game of Thrones new season's over now, so.
Oh, is it over? No, I'm so out of it. Okay, well, given the premises provided, the assumption, one of them is that, hey, people will be sad if they can't watch something that they like, right? Or even, we don't even know if they like it, we didn't even talk about that. But even if we said that they like it, the fact that you can't watch it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be sad. So the point is that when you go from one sentence to the next, people often kind of make small leaps. They just assume that you will accept the thoughts that they aren't saying as true, and so they don't need to take the time to say them. The problem with that is that that is exactly what the LSAT is trying to get us to look for. So when you read the passage, you really just need to be a critical reader and make sure you really understand it, not just kind of understand it. My best test for deciding whether I understand it is whether I can see in my mind's eye what's going on, right? Another test for you guys is I'll have people read the passage and they'll say, okay, what's going on in this passage? And if people look back at the passage and start reading it again, I'm like, well, it doesn't seem like you really took it in. You just kind of took it in on a more superficial level, right? So this is not like college reading where you go home and read a book and then come back and give your thoughts on the book as a whole. These are 4 sentences, and you need to dissect them like a frog. I don't know, I just came up with that thought right now. But we dissected frogs in middle school? No? Anyone not do that? It's great life experience. In any case, so just make sure you understand and then loosely predict based on the question they ask you. Sound good? Now, once you go into the answer choices, just make this again very systematic. Start with answer choice A and go through and eliminate those answers that you know are definitely wrong. A lot of times people, again, are kind of just like looking for the right answer, and they read an answer and they know that it's wrong, but they don't do anything about that. Then they read another answer and they're not so sure and they don't do anything about that. So then when you look back at all your answer choices, there's no distinction between answers that you know are wrong and those that might have a chance. So when you talk about cross out wrong, really bad answers, your page should look something like this. Like, yeah, A is definitely wrong. B, I think it's wrong, but I'm not 100% sure, so let me go on to C. C is definitely wrong. D is definitely wrong. Now I'm left with B and E, and I'm going to debate those 2 answer choices. Maybe B isn't actually as bad as I thought initially. Now that I'm looking at E, it's not that great either. But ultimately, E is better than B, or B is better than E, and you go with that one, right? But a lot of times we're getting these answer choices down to 2, and so you want to be very systematic about it so you're not wasting time rereading the answer choices that you knew were wrong at the time. You just take the time to cross those out. At the same time, you don't want to choose answers until you've read all 5. So let's say you read answer choice A and you know it's wrong, and then you read answer choice B and you're like, yeah, this is it. This is the right answer. Well, then just quickly read through the rest and see why they're wrong, cross them out, and then choose B. Because you wouldn't believe how many times people are like, yeah, B is the answer, and then you get down to E and you're like, E sounds pretty good too. I'm glad I read these because now that I'm looking at E, E is better than B. I didn't realize that B had the word many in it, which is too weak for this type of question. So, right. Okay, so those are the basic steps for logical reasoning, and they're outlined here on page 140. That's that. Any questions about logical reasoning before we keep going? Okay.